Hi, everyone. I'm Bruno from New Jersey. And so I'm Ari Kaplan. I'm an analyst that covers legal. This is Alex Gow. She is the Senior Director of Legal Operations at Hilton and a Clock Board member. Thank you for your leadership. And this is my friend Julio Sanchez. He is the new Director of Strategic Pricing at Venable. Just before we start, their opinions are their own. They're not reflective of their organizations. You can attribute anything you want to my company, Ari Kaplan Advisors, and let's get started. Okay, so is anybody here specifically, I'm just curious, involved in pricing? Their role is specifically pricing in terms of legal services? No, but
we got one.
Okay, and does everyone have some pricing responsibility? Not a title, but your pricing responsibility. Raise them up high, I promise I won't call on you. What are the rest of you doing here? Okay. So we're going to try to have some conversations about spend management, about what the influence of AI has been on spending, and what are some strategies. You're welcome to ask questions. I think we want to be engaging and want to have a fun conversation. Let's start. Okay, so Alex, I want to try to think about AI and outside counsel. Has anybody here, again, I promise not to call on you, has anybody here reduced outside counsel spending at all in the last year as a result of AI? However you want to consider that question. I won't, so like a little of this,
We're in the process.
very big hand. Anybody else? A little of this. So, okay, so some of this, okay, so Alex, now you're seeing, it's mostly a this thing. Where are you seeing AI reduce legal spend today, and has that led your team to perform more work in-house?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think even for Hilton, we're at the early stage of experiencing and feeling the change of AI on legal spend. And I would break this into two areas: internally, how we originate work, and externally, how work get executed by outside counsel. So internally, we have used AI as a true first pass engine now. Instead of sending a blank slate to outside counsel to start from scratch, we are using AI to generate the document, the initial document, the draft, or issue spot list, or even negotiation strategies for outside counsel to consider. So in that sense, outside counsel no longer bills us for work that they start from scratch. Instead, they're refining and advising. So from the origins of work, we are reducing hours there already by utilizing AI in our internal teams. And on the external side, the biggest impact we are expecting to see is a reduction of associate level work. The more repetitive, the more relatively entry-level legal work. This is where we're expecting to see savings. Tasks such as contract drafting, legal research, they are traditionally more time-intensive, but we are seeing the impact. We're hearing this from law firms. And I don't know how many of you were at the Mary O'Carroll's session this morning, and one of the comments she made really resonated with me a lot. She said, we're paying more for judgment. We're paying less for execution. So that's what we're seeing. AI is doing a lot of the execution level of work, and we're paying more at the partner level, the senior counsel level work for judgment and high stakes advisory work. So that's the shift we're seeing in AI legal spend.
Interesting that you say that, because I do a lot of research. I do an annual general counsel report. I produce research specifically focused on legal operations and on AI, and I'm seeing lots of law departments telling me that that ramp-up time has changed, that it's accelerating. They can get started, and just like you say, they're refining as opposed to starting, getting their outside counsel. So Julio, you're our outside counsel representative in this kind of audience. How are firms, as a result of this, recalibrating their pricing? What are they doing? How is it reducing hours but increasing value? And are clients expecting automatic AI discounts? Well, let me ask this question. Are you expecting an AI discount? Just raise your hand. I promise I won't hold it to you. Okay,
we shall talk after this.
Okay, yes, that's right. All right, so what do you think?
I wouldn't necessarily say that clients are asking for an automatic AI discount. Clients are certainly asking how we are using AI, and we are proactively, and the law firms that are not proactively having this conversation are missing a great opportunity to talk about the value that AI brings to the delivery and the judgment side of the relationship and the matters. So certainly clients, and even in RFPs, clients are asking more specifically, how are we going to leverage AI specifically on their matters, on their particular areas of law? And we are certainly proactively saying, we can, this is a fee estimate for a particular litigation. We're aiming to use AI, and we think we can drive efficiencies and drive the number down to X, X millions or X $100,000 or whatever that is. I think law firms that take the proactive approach to certainly drive that value for their clients are the ones that are coming out ahead, because clients are coming in and understanding what we are using, how we are using it, when we are using it. And to your point about driving the work towards that judgment side, certainly that's where we want to live. That's why you're hiring a specialized law firm to deliver value in that sense.
How many people in the audience are using any kind of alternative fee arrangement? Anyone piloting that, using that in some way? So that's pretty good. We got some up, as opposed to you got a lot of hand raising, so that's pretty good. So Alex, where are you seeing that? Like, where are you seeing success with alternative fee arrangements? Yeah. How can law departments decide? What my research is really showing that law firms and law departments are starting to realize there's some sort of stratification, that they use some work, as Mary talked about, super high value, requires intense judgment, worth a premium, and some work where you can either do it internally, you can have different providers offer that service. How are you guys seeing that and experiencing it?
Yeah, and that's where I think during the prep call I surprised you a little bit on AFAs, and this is such an interesting question because we've truly evolved our adoption or approach to AFAs over the past year because of AI. So historically, and I have my manager legal operations sitting here who helped me set up the more traditional structure of alternative fee arrangements, the collar arrangements. To me, even if you ask me today, I think it's a win-win for collar arrangements. So if you have a 1 million collar, so if you have a 1 million arrangement and then 10% collar, that 10% collar is free legal work for Hilton. And for law firms, they get a predictable revenue and really budget predictability for the whole year. So it's truly a win-win. But this year, we've actually very deliberately paused all of the AFAs because we don't want to tell the firm or give the firm a fixed amount of cash or revenue for the year and unintentionally relieve the pressure for them to continue driving efficiency, use AI, drive like innovation on Hilton matters. So that's why we actually are not doing the collar, the more traditional AFAs this year. But we are seeing something interesting. Also this year, we do see a more granular and task-based fixed fee arrangements being proposed by the firms. So we have a very big law firm, I think it's Big Law 10, very unwilling to negotiate traditionally on any fixed fee arrangements, but this year they actually reached out to us. They wanted to do a fixed fee arrangement for a very discrete phase of litigation, like early case assessment all the way to like motion to dismiss. Because they're using AI on all of these Hilton matters, and they're seeing efficiencies already. So that's why they feel very confident pricing that in. So I thought that's an interesting trend. So we're not doing that overall blanket AFAs, but we're doing more like the granular task-based AFAs or fixed fee arrangements. So that's something we're seeing that's very interesting this year.
So I hope Pursuit and Priori don't hear my voice echo through the room, but it's newsflash, the billable hour is not dead. So certainly to your point about gaining efficiencies, you don't realize that unless you are billing on an hourly rate basis. And however, that comes with a lot of implications, right? Not every legal department is comfortable with the so-called uncertainty of hourly rates. They still need to budget, they still need to, so AFAs come in and serve that purpose. If we can put in an all-in retainer, that to me is a bit a win scenario. One, because we are managing all your legal spend or a piece of your legal spend, and we are driving the efficiencies down. But to your point, to maximize the value from AI, you certainly need to be comfortable with the uncertainty of the billable hour.
Hi, it's nice to meet you all. I just have a quick question. In terms of the billable hours and everything, but couldn't that work to in-house detriment? I mean, because the billable hours would then come to researching AI. AI is not totally, it can make mistakes. So you spend billable hours using AI and then billable hours checking AI to make sure it's correct. So have you noticed any increase in your spend or your time by using AI?
And every law firm will have a different answer to that. I think that theoretically, right, certainly there is a learning curve, right? You will have associates, senior associates, and even partners find ways to utilize AI more efficiently. Legora, Harvey, they're certainly driving that towards the highest level that it can be at efficiencies. But there is a learning curve. Overall, though, in the long term, the best way to realize these savings from AI is through the flexibility of the legal hour, right? The billable legal hour.
So, in response to your question, so I've been publishing a general counsel report for the last 7 years, speaking only to general counsel, but all over the world. And they call this a validation tax. Like, how long will we have to pay the validation tax? This idea that we're using a technology that is supposed to save us time, but then we have to spend extra time verifying that it's correct, especially if, depending on which level of individual is doing it, because they have less judgment and they need to spend more time. So it's a really interesting dilemma.
Yeah, and we had a firm who told us like a certain task in the past it needs associate 6 hours, and now it's Harvey generating everything, and that associate takes 30 minutes to review and share. So they're billing us on the 30 minutes. Whether they're billing us on the investment on Harvey, that's like $1 million question, like everyone is talking about right now. But you see that, just in that example, you see the direct or impact on billable hours already.
Before we go on, your point about the firm refusing to focus on this, but now coming to you, I'm just wondering, of the people who raised their hand about a fixed fee arrangement or some sort of alternative fee arrangement, was that the result for anyone of the firm approaching them and making the suggestion? So one. Really interesting. I wonder if that's a trend. Yeah. Okay, so let's dig into sort of the question about ROI. This comes up. I've recently produced a report speaking to law firm leaders in 14 countries about how they're measuring ROI, and I'm currently looking at what corporate leaders around the world are doing to measure ROI of their investment in AI. So first, has anybody here figured out a way to demonstrate ROI or to measure it or pulled any metrics whatsoever, cycle time to, so one person. Anyone else? So 2, 3, 4. Interesting. Are you the same people who are doing AFAs, or? So you are. No, you're not. Wow. So 4 people. All right, so there you go. What are you, like, where do you currently reallocate spend, and how are you demonstrating, first, any ROI on what you're doing, but also legal ops? I often ask, as a legal operations team, as a leader, you have your team member here, how do you demonstrate the value of legal operations? And that's always been a challenge because it ends up being cost avoidance or something else that's hard to actually articulate. So how are you doing things like that?
Yeah. So on the spend allocation side, we've made a very deliberate decision to move dollars from the more manual, like labor-heavy work towards AI-driven automation and solutions. So it has been my team's one big thing since last year. We're implementing a contract lifecycle management tool, which is very AI-driven. And this was a big decision for us in a flat budget environment. We actually went through a lot of scrutiny, went through an investment committee process and built a business case. But this is where we felt strongly that legal ops can step up and really create that bigger enterprise-wide impact rather than limiting to managing legal or being viewed as a cost center. And also in terms of like a flat budget environment, and because of the flat budget environment, we really want to make the best use of what we have in Hilton. We have ChatGPT and we have Copilot. So we're spending a lot of money, a lot of time, not so much money, but a lot of time and effort in upskilling our lawyers. So as a legal leadership team, we spend a lot of time like discussing AI use cases, AI governance, and we also did a lot of AI training. We have a Microsoft Teams channel sharing use cases to just drive engagement for our lawyers to adopt AI. We also have an AI competition internally at Hilton, like doing all of these to drive engagement and knowing that we have Copilot, we have ChatGPT, let's please use them and integrate them into our day-to-day work. And on the ROI perspective, and the CLM, thanks to the CLM, we do have a lot of measurable, more quantifiable data. You do have more consistency in contract negotiation. You have faster turnaround time, and you have better visibility into Hilton's contract universe. So all of these can be reported and can be measured and monitored as we implement the system. So that's definitely one big ROI, like immediately from investing in the CLM. But on the, I guess I'm more on the qualitative side of ROI. By doing the CLM, we're leading it, we're partnering with IT, but we are the leader of this project. So we've really like shaped the perception of legal operations to become a driver of innovation and transformation at Hilton. So my general counsel earlier this year, when she did her MBO, like she told me all within her objectives, like it all starts with support something. Like legal is essentially a service provider. We're here to support the business, like support the launch of this brand, like Apartments Collection by Hilton, support the Hilton American Express credit card agreement. But the only thing she had that starts with a lead is my project, lead the enterprise-wide contract lifecycle management system. So this is where we've truly like shaped the perception, like stepped up as a legal operations team and be that driver of innovation and transformation. And Mary mentioned legal has become hot, and that's how we feel internally over the past 2 years because of our CLM, because of all of the AI work streams my team has been managing. Like legal has been, like all of a sudden we're the hot department. We're no longer a cost center. So that's definitely a very, very great trend we're seeing.
So I wrote an article for the ACC docket in 2012 highlighting that there's this new role, COO, Chief of Staff, Legal Operations Leader. And you're right, like in 2025, 2026, legal is really seen as the R&D epicenter of many enterprises, and in law firms, those folks who are doing the same thing in innovation, in pricing, are transforming the model. So how do you feel about that? So does anybody here feel like with all of these pressures, your budget is shrinking, your responsibilities are growing, and expectations for legal are even higher? Just raise your hand if you think that's sort of a truism now. That's the most we've gotten in terms of votes. Thank you very much. You've been a great audience. What are clients asking for, Julio, in terms of transparency? Like, what are they looking for from you in terms of reporting, telling them what to do, especially if this is your client, because she's savvy and she has a savvy team, and I'm sure that's true of many people in the audience. What kind of transparency are they looking for now?
So the beauty of being on the law firm side is that you do get to interact with all different legal departments that are in different stages of their evolution, right? And they all have different needs, whether it's just looking at how we're leveraging work, how we're staffing their matters, whether it's looking at where are the strategies that we're driving. I recently worked, well, not recently, but at a previous firm, I worked on a report for a client that was curious about anonymous information on how their competitors are actively performing enforcement work in the market, right? Like that's an indication that we can help sort of paint the picture, and then they can bring that back to the leadership and help them drive the conversation about we need to be doing more in this particular area. It is, to your point about being a cost center and showing ROI or just showing that you are more than just a support function. Pricing does play that similar role within the law firm, right? We're trying to position ourselves as advisors. We're having direct conversations with our legal ops counterparts, and we're helping sort of bridge the gap where there is a need for transparency on either reporting, metrics, KPIs that our clients are interested in. And the fun thing is that every client has a different goal, a different requirement of KPIs, a different type of visualization, different type of dashboards that they would like to see. So we get to sort of serve a bigger market, which is fun, but it also shows us what, and this is what I was trying to tell you earlier, that then I'm able to have these conversations with folks that are on a much earlier maturity stage and tell them about what other people are doing, what we've done for other folks, and then help them also climb that sort of evolution ladder towards proving that they are more than just a support function.
Can you just, by show of hands, ask, I'm curious, as anybody using tools, I want to ask you what kind of tool or what it was, that has specifically where you can kind of identify where it has saved the law department money? So just a couple. Wow, so one person nodding. Nobody over that side. What's the story here? Okay, fair enough. So Alex, you talked about CLM and that being an impressive driver of attention for the legal team. Are there specific tools where you find we save money on a specific set of tools and it's been...
Yeah. So the CLM has definitely been a game changer. And I attended a knowledge management session yesterday, and one of the comments that the speaker mentioned is knowledge management is about making something or knowledge that used to be tacit, like institutional knowledge that resides in somebody's mind, to structured and explicit knowledge. I think that's the power of AI. That's the power of CLM that we're seeing. So I want to share a light bulb moment recently shared by one of our development attorneys. So she mentioned that in the past, when she's negotiating a hotel deal and she wants to remember, oh, I negotiated this clause several years ago with this owner on that hotel, but I don't remember which. She usually needs to go to like, hey Brian, hey John, do you remember this deal? We may have negotiated with that person. Do you remember where that is and which property or which hotel that is? It's usually like asking around, and they all reside in their minds, which is dangerous. Lucky for us, these lawyers have stayed with Hilton for more than 10 years, but also very dangerously. It's 10 years of knowledge all in their minds, and think about them leaving. But with CLM, she shared that she just use that the Ask AI tool in our CLM, and then just natural language question. Hey, I want to find this clause, maybe with this property or with this owner. Can you find it for me? And AI took a guess and gave her 5 answers. And the first one was exactly what she was looking for, and had citations, it has everything. So that's the power of AI that we're like witnessing right now. Like, switching or transferring that institutional knowledge, that tacit knowledge to structured and explicit data and knowledge. So that's really powerful. And our everyday usage of Copilot and ChatGPT, they might be small, but incrementally, and you combine them as a legal team, it is pretty big impact. And by sharing all of the prompts, the use cases, and I use Copilot a lot, and I don't write a lot of emails myself anymore. So this is like all of these compounded together, it is definitely a game changer for our legal team. So that's, and so internally, we're categorizing all of the AI tools to consumer tools, which is all of the frontier models. Like Hilton, we have ChatGPT and Copilot, but there is also the commercial tools, the Harvey, the Logora, the GC AI. So we're also exploring all of these tools. So for this conference, we actually put together a massive spreadsheet of who's talking to which vendor, and we're taking notes. We're going to talk to Harvey and ask them, like, why are you better than Logora? And ask Logora the same. So we're going to do a lot of these questions and really find out the best solution more on the commercial side of AI tools. So more to come on that.
Julio, are clients rewarding firms that demonstrate efficiency, or is that just resulting in an expectation of a lower bill?
So there's a mix. I have a mixed opinion on that. Clients are certainly rewarding law firms that are leveraging AI to either drive costs down, but they're still outcome driven, especially for a high stake litigation, a very important transactional matter that they need to close. Law firms are still being rewarded for delivering the results the client expect. Now, there is an incentive to leverage AI to keep costs down. There is an opportunity also for law firms to perform and help consolidate some of those large panels that sometimes clients have created and really institutionalize clients, right? So AI really drives that sort of motivation for law firms to not only perform and also show that they are creating value for their clients. Because in the hope, I think, AI will certainly motivate, to your point earlier about doing more with less or shrinking legal spend. The direction towards consolidation to really trusted partners, that is the opportunity that AI is creating. So law firms need to rise to that occasion and show the value that they're bringing, not only by reducing costs with AI, but also being able to do more with, not less, but more with the legal spend that the client has at a fixed increment.
Show of hands here. Has your relationship with your outside counsel changed as a result of the emergence of AI, generative AI in particular? So, wait, so only a couple of people raise their hand. So is it fair to say that everyone else, the relationship has stayed the same? Like a non-yes, I got it. So like TBD of, do you sense a change? Is that what's going on? Are you sensing? Okay, so Alex, is that happening? Like, are you seeing a change? Has your relationship changed?
Yeah.
Are you seeing any kind of pressure as a result of AI?
We're similar. We've not seen drastic changes in our relationships with outside counsel, but we are seeing an evolution, and we're going to incorporate usage of AI as an evaluation criterion, and also incorporate AI usage into the future, like selection of outside counsel. So we are definitely seeing that as a future or evolution that we're predicting. So if there's one takeaway or one nugget I'm hoping for you to take away today, so Hilton, we're a hospitality company. We really treat everyone, including our firms and vendors, with the highest level of hospitality. We want to make the AI a shared AI journey. So this year, if you have not done this, I highly recommend for you to take this away and act on this. So we started a series, we call it the AI tour. We see a series of conversations with our firms. We picked the top 10 firms by spend, and that's where the juice is worth the squeezing. And we put together a very comprehensive agenda, starting from what's your AI strategy, your overall strategy, and all the way to data security and privacy, how you're protecting Hilton's data, and all the way to your usage on Hilton legal matters. And we share that agenda with all the firms beforehand, and we ask them if they can share materials with us to pre-read and actually present to us for half an hour or 1 hour, and that has been eye-opening. And you see clearly where firms fall in the AI adoption curve. You have firms who are just doing pilots of this or that tool, all the way to firms that have incorporated AI into their day-to-day. They really operationalize AI in all of the legal matters, including Hilton's. So that's something I highly recommend for you to start that conversation, ask that question, ask for transparency for the firms. And I want to share this in the 10 firms we talked about their AI journey. One firm that really stood out, and I think this is going to be, and again to my earlier point on evaluation and selection of outside counsel, this is such a golden opportunity for firms to stand out and be different and innovate together with us. So we had a firm that told us they've adopted Harvey. And I don't know how familiar you're with Harvey. Within Harvey, you can set up Vault. The Vault can be one legal matter. And not every firm does this, and not every one of us knows that. So they can, actually in Harvey, you can share those Vault with your client. And that firm offered to share that Vault with us, so we can leverage Harvey and leverage all of the documents within that Vault. So that type of behavior and transparency really stood out in building trust with us. So that's something I just want to mention and highly recommend for you to talk to your outside counsel.
I was going to say that's such a measurable impact of how a law firm is using AI, right? Like you have the vault where you're seeing how we're querying, how we're using your documents. I think that is a true example of partnering with the law firm to drive value.
Wow. Well, Alex, Julio, it's really been a privilege. Thank you all. Enjoy the conference.